In the year 479 BCE, the air was heavy with anticipation and the scent of incense wafted through the quiet halls of the ancient city of Tsufu. The sound of weeping and low murmurs filled the air, interspersed with the crackle of burning joss sticks. People from various walks of life gathered, their garments a mixture of muted colors echoing the somber occasion. At the center of this gathering was Confucius, a man whose teachings and philosophies had begun to shape the very fabric of society. As he lay on his deathbed, the weight of his life's work hung in the air like the burning incense, a mix of hope, sorrow, and the lingering possibility of change. His voice, though weak, cut through the haze. Is it not a joy to have friends come from afar? His passing marked not just the end of an era for Confucius himself but signified a poignant moment in history. The sounds of the gathering grew louder, voices intertwining in a chorus of reverence, while the scent of flowers filled the air, masking the musty odor of the earth beneath the platform. As Confucius breathed his last, the world around him held its breath, fully aware that a void had been created, one that would echo through the ages. Confucius was born in 551 BCE in the state of Lu, now part of modern Shandong province. His family, once of noble descent, had fallen on hard times, scraping by with limited resources. The smell of stale rice and the dampness of the earth lingered in their small home as Confucius's mother struggled to provide for her son. His father, a warrior, died when Confucius was just 3 years old, leaving a profound impact on the young child. The absence of a paternal figure cast a shadow over his childhood, a constant reminder of lost potential and the harsh realities of life. He often wandered the fields alone, the earth cool against his bare feet, contemplating the weight of expectations on his small shoulders. As he grew, Confucius was acutely aware of the societal structures that dictated interactions between people. The chaos of war and the fragmentation of social bonds filled him with an urgent desire for reform and understanding. He would silently vow to himself that he would restore meaning to the lives around him. In his early 30s, Confucius faced his first significant failure. After years of study and contemplation, he sought a position in the court of Lu to share his philosophical insights and implement his ideas of governance. However, he was met with ridicule from the established leaders, men entrenched in tradition and resistant to change. One notable moment came when he presented his ideas, passionately articulating, "The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones." His heart sank as he realized that despite his dedication, his vision was unwelcomed. Feeling crushed, he left the court in despair. The cool evening air cut against his skin as he walked away, the weight of rejection heavy on his shoulders. He sat by the banks of the river, tears mingling with the water, as he reflected on what it meant to lead a life of purpose amid opposition. In that moment of darkness, a flicker of resolve ignited within him. He would not give up. He gathered his thoughts and set off again, determined to seek out those who might share his vision. The turning point in Confucius's life came during his travels through various states to share his philosophy. In the state of Qi, he encountered a ruler named Duke Ai, who was disillusioned with the moral decay around him. Confucius employed a genius strategy focused on moral suasion rather than sheer force. He spoke not just from a position of authority but from a place of shared humanity. To see what is right and not do it is the want of courage, he emphasized, his voice carrying conviction. Confucius advocated for the concept of ren, or humaneness, urging the Duke to lead by example rather than through fear. He suggested integrating rituals and education into governance as a means to cultivate virtue among the populace. As they conversed, the sweet fragrance of blooming flowers drifted through the air, a symbol of renewal and hope as the seeds of Confucius's teachings began to take root. Realizing he could inspire change not just through direct action but through thoughtful dialogue, he began to gather followers, students eager to learn his philosophies. The climax of Confucius's influence came with the consolidation of his thoughts into what would later be known as the Analects and his teachings on governance during a time of turmoil. One of the most significant confrontations he faced was the widespread warfare that engulfed the states of China during his lifetime. As armies clashed and chaos reigned, Confucius called for a unified approach to moral leadership. In order to establish peace, we must first establish the right relationships among people, he declared at one gathering, the fervor in his voice echoing across the fields. As he stood before a crowd of anxious citizens, he articulated a vision for a society based on ethical governance. Despite the cacophony of war drums in the background, he insisted, the wise man does not lay hold of the sword until he has informed himself of the situation. Confucius's influence grew, and he shaped the leaders of the time, instilling ideals that would guide them through moral decay. His teachings were not just theoretical, they became a way of life, a cultural shift that spread slowly but surely across the landscape of China. However, Confucius's ideals faced fierce opposition. His most significant challenge came from powerful factions within the states who resisted his philosophies, threatening the status quo. Particularly, the military leaders and feudal lords, men of wealth and power, found Confucius's emphasis on ethics undermining their authority. They viewed his teachings as a direct threat to their control over the masses. Tensions escalated, leading to Confucius being forced to leave Lu once again, feeling the bitter sting of betrayal. During a night of bitter cold, he and his disciples camped under a barren tree. Amidst the biting winds, Confucius reflected on the treachery he faced. "You cannot open a door with a sword," he mused to his devoted followers, "but you can unlock a heart with kindness." His resilience shone through as he continued to teach his students in secret, using the harsh realities around him as lessons to prepare them for future leadership. He understood that the road ahead would be fraught with obstacles, yet he remained steadfast in his mission. As Confucius passed away, the legacy he left behind was not merely a set of teachings but a profound shift in how individuals related to one another and their government. The air was thick with reverence for a man who had devoted his life to understanding human nature. In the years that followed, his ideas became foundational to Chinese culture, influencing not only the governing systems but also personal relationships and social structures. The phrase, "What you do not wish for yourself, do not do to others," became a guiding principle for generations. The principles of ethics, social harmony, and respect for tradition became central tenets of Confucianism. Reflecting on Confucius's life, it becomes evident that his journey illuminated the complexity of human nature, the struggle between ambition and moral duty, tradition and reform. His teachings were a bridge connecting the past to a hopeful future, a reminder that change is born not from violence but through understanding and compassion. In the stillness that followed his departure, the world mourned the loss of a guiding light, yet his teachings lived on, echoing through the corridors of time and embedding themselves within the very fabric of society. In conclusion, Confucius's life exemplifies the importance of persistence in the face of adversity, the necessity of ethical leadership, and the unyielding power of human connection. His wisdom resonates even today, reminding us of the profound impact one individual